Hello and welcome to the We All Follow podcast. My name is Matt Fox. I am your host. Today we are joined by friends who I haven't seen in a while. Ben, welcome back. How you been, bud?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. And Nigel, who has strapping on his hamstring, came in clutch, regardless of the circumstances. How you doing, buddy?
In pain, but good. These are killing it. Absolutely killing it.
I think
He's doing a Ben White playing through your injury.
we are all gutting out this podcast. I am getting over a sickness, so if I mute or turn off my camera randomly, it's because I'm coughing in the background. But nonetheless, just like the professional athletes that we are, we go on. Follow us on X at We All Follow Pod. Like, subscribe, notifications. Do it all. Be here with us every week, even during an international break when we should have our feet up in Dubai. All right, boys. Moment of the week. Nigel, I can tell you're ready. What do you got for me, buddy?
Moment of the week. So, my moment of the week was an interesting one, actually. Interesting one. And it was Sunday evening, post Arsenal versus Chelsea, and within an hour of that game finishing, I'd already been sent a text saying, "No Deck, no Bukayo for England. We're having a rest." That's my moment of the week. That was nice to hear. Nice to hear.
Ben, moment of the week.
Yeah, I was trying to pick through a few random ones. There was something in Argentina which was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe. Basically, there was a streamer one of the top division teams started in one game, like a Twitch streamer. He started and then they subbed him off within 1 minute or whatever. I don't know what the whole story behind it was, but I just saw because I was like, "Who's that name? I've not seen it. It's just one name." And then I looked, and it was literally some streamer or whatever. But yeah, and they're playing top of the league as well. So yeah, you can imagine. Let's say, I don't know, Brentford randomly playing some YouTuber in their first 11. But yeah. And yeah, the main thing though from the Premier League games was the Ipswich Tottenham one. Ipswich getting a win against Tottenham, because I was like, they're struggling to get a win, and they eventually do it against Tottenham, which is made it even better. Then Liam Delap getting a goal and assist. So yeah, I'm sure someone will be bidding for him soon.
Yeah, Ipswich coming up with their first win at the Toilet Bowl. Always entertaining. My moment of the week is probably Nunez's goal against Aston Villa, Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0, where they just clatter Salah, and Nunez comes out of nowhere, takes this ridiculous angle, and just yams it into the back of the net. I keep saying they're going to fall off, and every week they keep making me look like a fool. So maybe they're going to keep doing great all season and make over 100 points. That's my new angle. And if I say it, then maybe I can do the opposite effect of what's been happening. So that's my moment of the week.
You're channeling your inner United trait.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just it's opposite day. So we're going to go with that. Moment of the week. Wonderful segment, boys. Let's look at the table. That's where we are these days. In first place with 28 points, we have Liverpool, followed by Man City, who lost on 2 losses in a row. Those guys are in trouble. 23 points for Man City. Chelsea, Arsenal, and Nottingham Forest and Brighton all on 19 points. Then you have Fulham, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Spurs wrapping up the top 10. That prediction that I made of Spurs scoring the most goals and not making Europe sounded crazy at the time. You guys laughed at me. What you also laughed at me was saying that West Ham was going to make top 4, and that one was totally false. So, give it and take it away. We have Brentford, Bournemouth, Man U moving up into 13th place after getting the result this weekend. West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Ipswich out of the drop zone in 17th. And then Crystal Palace, Wolves, and Southampton. Wolves getting their first win of the season this past weekend against Southampton, who... It's not looking good, boys. It's not looking good. So that was. Let's go through the matches. What do you guys have for me? Obviously there's a big distraction. There's a big controversy. There's some rumor mills, some videos that have been percolating. So if you guys want to get into that first, you can. If you guys want to talk about the matches, we had some interesting results, right? Ben, you want to do matches or do you want to do paparazzi?
I don't mind. Has anyone got anything burning that they want to discuss first?
I was just say a quick one on matches. I was just going to say Brighton, Man City. I said that Brighton double chance was the one, and they proved it. I mean, Man City. Apparently, it's not all roses currently at the Etihad, by all accounts. So. Yeah, I thought that was always on. That result was always on. Brighton to get a result there. And the other one was just Man United. Ruud van Nistelrooy has gone 4 out of 4 and he's just been shown the door. I mean, that's a proper kick in the teeth for him, isn't it? He took the job, I do believe, turning down Burnley manager's job. He took the assistant manager's job, I think, on the premise that if Eric was sacked, he was the one.
Do you think that he gets a payout, that he had it in his contract, that if Ten Hag gets sacked and that he didn't get the job, he would get I'm sure he's walking away with a healthy bonus and a couple weeks off.
I mean, it looks like Man U were paying for it by removing the £40,000 a year that they set aside for the Man United Disabled Supporters Association. So the scrapping Disabled Supporters Association budget. I looked at it. So
that is one way to cut costs in 2024. Not necessarily the one that I would be going after, but well, that's why I'm not a consultant, right, Nigel? Because I can't make the hard decisions. That's absolutely ridiculous and embarrassing. Wow, I hadn't even heard about that. So you caught me totally off guard on that one, and I am not ready. But the real news, so I expected to come into this podcast to tell everybody that Arsenal are no longer in the title hunt, right? Because this is the way that I look at it, right? If we were switched with Spurs, and Spurs were, how many points back are we? 9 points behind, and they said that they were in a title hunt, we would make fun of them. Right, so with that logic, I cannot say that Arsenal are in the title hunt. That's just the way it is, right? Some of you guys might be able to say that. I personally cannot say that. So now that Arsenal are out of the title race, I was expecting to come on here and say how we have to win all of the rest of our games, and that's the only option. I was honestly hoping Sean would be here to tell us that we were out of the title race and to make fun of us and see how quickly we'd make it down next to Man U in 13th, but alas, he couldn't make it. So with that framework, we had a video that was released this week of one David Coote. And in said video, allegedly, well, actually, it's not allegedly because they've admitted it was him, right? So it's no longer, it's not allegedly him, it is him. There was a video of him released with a cricketer, right? Where David Coote is on screen using profanities to describe our good friend of the show, Jurgen Klopp. Nigel, what was your first thought when you saw this video?
So, I'm calling Klopp a German See You Next Tuesday. It's not the end of the world, is it? Saying that Liverpool shit, as in Liverpool the place or people or whatever. Again, is it the end of the world? No. It was what came after. I mean, Coote is quite clear that you're not going to get on with everyone. As a referee, you're not going to get. You're always going to have people who you do get on with and you don't get on with. But the fact that it came out after the video was released, that Coote had not been on Liverpool duty for 4 years, and the PGML knew about this video apparently. That starts ringing alarm bells for me. But then the next video comes out where he's not now
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
This one is allegedly. There's an alleged video that shows a man who looks like it's David Coote, who is appears to be allegedly snorting some type of substance.
No, he's drawing lines. He's doing a VAR check. He's drawing lines.
A VAR
so,
check.
Yeah.
So that's what we're calling it now.
We'll not call him David Coote at this point. So allegedly in this video, Pablo EscoVAR, EscoVAR, he's doing his lines. He's got his lines on his TV screen, and then it all starts making sense, and you're like, all right, okay, but then. There is also allegedly picked out. I mean, I'm going to say allegedly they are out there. So then I'm flicking through X. I'm thinking this can't be right. And I flick through, and I come to an account. This account's got some pictures on it, right? And on these pictures is 5 Premier League referees in 2022 in an Indonesian club. Sat at a table full of Indonesian hookers on the knees and stuff like that. Why would 5 Premier League referees go to Southeast Asia all together in the summer?
No, but it's worse because they're all married as well, apparently. Or most of them were, or something.
Kevin Friend is definitely enjoying himself in the pictures. And then it goes to, then you start thinking, what's big in Southeast Asia? Gambling. Is all this stuff?
There's something else too, but this is a PG podcast, so you know there's a lot of gambling, lots of gambling.
Yeah, but no gambling. But has all this stuff come out about David Coote because he's not done a match fix or a spot bet? And so this is his, or he's missed a few, and this is his punishment. It's been thrown to the wolves, so to speak. That's my question.
So this, let's do a couple of things. First of all, PSA: drugs are bad. Okay, drugs are bad, and that's a serious statement. When this news came out, and if you watch this show, you'll know that I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, right? That's usually the last thing that I resort to in terms of explaining what happens, right? Typically, my way that I see the world is that it's way more likely that it's incompetence than it is conspiracy, right? Because people are not very smart. When I saw this come out, I said in my head, how much do you want to bet that there's a video out behind this of this man doing some type of drugs and or exorbitant amount of drinking, right? Because then you can say that he's an addict, he has a problem, allegedly, and that he needs help, right? And it's not a systematic issue that we have, it's a one-off issue, right? But 2 days later, did allegedly this video come out that shows him doing illicit substances.
1 minute. So, literally, as we're talking about, exclusive. Snorting ref David Coote set up a drugs party minutes before Man City game. He was working as 4th official and even sent a halftime text about it.
I saw that, yeah.
Oh my God.
Ben?
Yeah.
I'm sure you know some friends who enjoy the lines. What's your take on the situation?
What are you saying about Ben here?
I'm not saying that it's Ben.
don't.
We all have friends that enjoy some lines. That doesn't mean that I'm enjoying them with them. But that doesn't like you don't. You've
I
never
don't-
met anybody that does coke. That I mean, if you've never met anybody that does coke, I will show you a Protestant pope. Okay, like come on.
No, my mates were all athletes, so none of that stuff. No, to be fair, actually saying that sometimes they are the worst people out of the lot, but yeah. No, to be honest, it's weird though because there's so much coming out. Like every day, there's something new that he's done or whatever, and like everyone's exposing everything. I think the worst part about some of this stuff is like, how can I put it? Like most people out there will be doing stuff like that, but like for it to be exposed is then looks bad on the company. So then he's now under shit. Really, he's not done anything mad. It's just that it's all coming out all at once, and it makes him look really bad. But some of the stuff like you're hearing like that, if that's true about him trying to arrange that literally during or just before a game, that's in like another level. That's for me, that's something that's actually like really bad compared to the other things. I think the other things are more like, well, the video is so, I was watching it, I was like watching it like, are you being serious? This guy is a Premier League referee and he's sat there on camera, knowingly on camera, and said it. Like at this point you deserve what you get. Do you know what I mean?
But it's like the alleged video. Why would you film yourself doing that unless you were sending it to someone?
Yeah.
But so when I first saw the video,
I was going to say that says to me that you're sending that to either other people to come and party with you, yeah, or you've just done it because this is just normal to you. You're just completely oblivious. He must have Snapchatted it or whatever.
Yeah, Snapchat private story or whatever. But
when I saw the original video and the way that the other guy says, "Now don't send this out," it was like he was sending it to his subscribers. The way that he said it and the way like it was like this guy has a Patreon and this is getting sent to his subscribers of all the cool shit that he does, like hanging out with David Coote, and you guys better not send this out. And like, how dumb do you have to be?
Yeah.
And honestly, it circles back to the conversation that we've had on this podcast, which is about how much they pay referees, right? Because you have these guys going to other countries for money. You think they're going there like, yes, obviously everybody would like to make more money, right? But you open these guys up to these liabilities when their wages are what they are, right? For the position that they're in, for how much money the league is making, like. There's no reason why these guys should need to go to this other country to make ends meet. You know what I mean? And if they are gonna go over there, then it should be all expenses paid by our league because they're going on behalf of our league to promote our league and our officiating. So we have Monts is here. He's joining us. Monts, how's it going, buddy? Great to have you back on. Hopefully
you guys hear me. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, we can, mate. How you doing?
Not too bad. Just you guys hear me?
Yeah. You're good, mate. You came in just at the right time. We were talking about our favorite referee, David Coote, who had a video that was admitted to be him talking bollocks about Liverpool, and then an alleged video. There was an alleged video with David Coote where he's allegedly, potentially, possibly snorting some type of unnamed powder, allegedly.
Yeah, man. Well, as I said, as a Liverpool fan myself, you guys probably know I don't really take too kindly to Mr. David Coote, but I've been told Monts, people telling me, Monts, like, don't be so hard on him, or my favorite line is he's got a family to feed. Well, listen, man, if you snorting that white, you gonna be all right because that drug ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? So for me, as I said, allegedly in that, you know what I'm saying? You snorting that white, you gonna be all right. And you should have known this while knowing the what you're gonna be like, you're a ref. So you should have known beforehand the ramifications of being caught. And yes, for me, I think it's pretty obvious. I might be wrong, but I think he was being blackmailed. I think if this video is 4 years old, he's 100% being blackmailed, and he's probably just got tired of paying the blackmailers their money in it. He's probably just got, you know what, do what you want to do now. Like, put the video out if you want to put the video out, man. Innit? You know what I'm saying? I think that he just got tired of being blackmailed, and I think even though I don't like him as a referee and the way he's spoken about my club and some of the decisions he's made, at the same time, I think you gotta have a dark place in your heart to put that video out, to want to destroy everything someone's worked for, even if they're not very good at their job. In my opinion isn't the be all and end all. You know what I'm saying?
Monts, so, what do you think, Monts, about the other videos? So like all the other videos coming out, because they're obviously not from the same person. So I mean, one thing what we were talking about before you came on is the photos and videos of the 5 Premier League referees in Indonesia in a club surrounded by Indonesian hookers.
I hadn't even seen that. I didn't even know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
It's the draw videos. Kevin Friend's there. David Coote's there.
No, I mean, they were there. We just don't know what those women do for a living, Nigel. So.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. We don't know what
they were definitely there. I just threw it in the chat, Monts. They were definitely there, accompanied by women. What those women do for a living, I do not know. Right, but it appears as though they might be entertainers of some variety, and these are a series of mostly married men.
So you mentioned blackmail, Monts. This is interesting because why else would you be in Southeast? We were talking about Southeast Asia. I says one of the big things in Southeast Asia is bookies, betting, spot betting, match fixing. 5 referees in a entertainment venue at the capital of match fixing, spot betting. I mean, I said this before. I said it on our WhatsApp group, and I've said it to people time and time again. In 5 years' time, we will be watching a Netflix documentary, PGMOL, the face of corruption.
Yeah, fear of corruption. What you don't see.
Yeah.
I think we'll get one about the referee, like the Barcelona referees. We'll get one of them first. Yeah. Surely that's got to come soon, because there's been like, I'm sure that was spoken about recently, where there was the period of time where they're talking about from when Arsenal played in the Champions League final, and also when Van Persie got sent off, that red card. That was a bit that for me was a big one. But yeah.
Yeah, remember these guys
getting some of these though.
These guys are humans as well. So for me, as I said, I couldn't be a referee and be the fan. The football, I'd have to be a referee in like American football, where I have no ties. But I don't care what anyone says. You know, when these refs say, "Oh, I support Wickham, I support Stockport," bro. These men don't like. You can't sit here and tell me you haven't got an affinity to at least one of the big teams, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or even just a slight preference to one of the teams. That's not for me to say that every referee has a bias to a team. That's not what I'm saying. My point is that it's never really about what's been said. It's all about how much did it spill over? What do we not see, for me? Because we've just seen what's been caught on camera. Because what's been caught on camera is what's spilled onto camera. What actually gets said in these private meetings or these private getaways, you know, where these friendly women that obviously it's just friendship gatherings going on here. I'm probably sure they're learning handshakes and shaking hands and, you know, high-fiving and whatnot. But, you know, what conversations are actually going on? He called Jurgen Klopp a German "see you next Tuesday." Like, for me, like that's deeper than rap. It's deeper than rap. It's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? That is not. You didn't have to refer to him as a German "see you next Tuesday." You could have just called him a "see you next Tuesday." So you don't like him, cool. You know what I'm saying? A lot of managers aren't liked by officials. No one liked the officials. Didn't like Mourinho. They hated Sir Alex Ferguson. They didn't like Jurgen Klopp. They didn't like Pep Guardiola. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like Arsene Wenger. That's normal to be not liked as a manager. But the whole adding the German stuff in there, and then if you look at the way, like, I don't care how out of it you are, I'm pretty sure everyone or most people have been intoxicated at some point in their life. Maybe not by the whole Class A stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking drunk. At least people have been intoxicated by alcohol and whatnot. This is what he saw in his face. He saw this because it's a close up. So he's seeing this close to his face. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're slurring your words and out of it, you know you're being recorded. You know what I'm saying? You know you're being recorded. And even the guy that's recording, like, he's even said at the end of the video, well, this video can't go out because we don't want you to lose your job and never referee a game again, or whatever it was he said. You know?
That's what I said earlier, was that that video was going, it seemed like that video was going to that guy's subscriber list, right? Like his Patreon or whatever inside, because it's like whatever small group that it's going to, it's not friends where they automatically know that the video doesn't come out. It's some bigger group than that, but it's also like making them seem like an insider, which again is like, how dumb can you be? Like you said, like he knows what he's doing. It was performative, right? It was like, I'm friends with this guy, he's friends with me, and he's getting the inside scoop that nobody else is getting, right? It's just so unbelievable and totally believable at the same time. Like these guys never surprise me. Like nothing that they do can surprise me at this point. But where does it go next?
Nowhere.
Where does it go next, Nigel?
To rehab. The rehab.
We will end up with the British version of Calciopoli. Tell you now, this is gonna break football, because I think once it's out for one, it'll all come crashing down. And like I said, I put it on that group, didn't I? I said, this could end up with fixtures not being fulfilled, because why can say Arsenal are playing Nottingham Forest, yeah, in the first week of the Premier League back next week, yeah. What if the PGMOL give Arsenal Anthony Taylor as referee? Oh no, Rob Jones. Get Rob Jones, who we had against Bournemouth, and Arsenal turn and say, no, we don't want Rob Jones. We don't want him as referee because we think that he's a Liverpool fan. What's going to stop him from doing that? What can people say? You could end up with clubs. I mean, do Liverpool want to be refereed by Michael Oliver, who is a Newcastle fan? If they're playing someone like, if it could affect them, or do you want Anthony Taylor, who's a Man United fan or whatever? This is where it's a big problem now. I've said for ages, and you guys know this. I've said for ages, Jared Gillett is not allowed to referee any games to do with Liverpool because he's a staunch Liverpool fan. He's got a Liverpool tattoo, and he went to all the Champions League finals and everything like that as a fan. Yeah, he's not allowed to eat. So when he became a referee, he filled in and said, "Look, I've got a club affiliation to Liverpool. Yeah, that's me." So he's not allowed on any games. He should not be allowed to referee any games involving any teams around Liverpool in the league. He should not be refereeing any top four games. If you look, and I said this earlier, if you look, Jared Gillett was on VAR against Bournemouth when Saliba got sent off. That was never a sending off. It was a yellow card. The referee got it right. The linesman got it right. The VAR, the fourth official all agreed there were too many variables for it to be sent off. Yellow card's fine, and a caution. Yeah, it's a caution. Don't do it. One more foul and you're off, William. But that's a yellow card. Jared Gillett insisted that it was Dogso. He put together facts what were actually assumptions. It's a subjective decision. You can't have facts in subjective. So not only did he do it then, he was also the referee when Arsenal lost to Aston Villa last season, which also had a controversial incident, where when he was 30 yards behind play, he looked through four players and saw a handball where the ball apparently just brushed Kai Havertz's hand, yeah, and he managed to give an handball. And the reason he gave an handball, the reason he blew a whistle and they didn't give a goal, even though the linesman gave the goal, he blew a whistle and gave an handball because he knows that VAR at that point needs to have clear evidence to overturn his decision. If there was no clear evidence that it wasn't handball, and it looked close, if there was no clear evidence that it wasn't handball, VAR can't overturn the decision. He missed 2 penalties in that game. One of them was the most blatant penalty ever when Jesus got kicked by Douglas Luiz in his calf. I mean, it was blatant. But that one stuck out. Every time Gillett referees a game to do with Arsenal towards the top of the league with Liverpool, controversy. And he shouldn't be allowed. And this is where this could lead to other teams turning around saying, we don't want that referee because we think he's a Man U fan. We don't want that referee, he's a Newcastle fan.
You know, I think what this really brings out is how delicate our institutions are, right? And whether you want to look at politics or whatever, in this case, football, you have Ben. Great to see you, buddy. Thanks for hopping on. We'll catch you next time. You have the Premier League is a group of 20 teams. Obviously, 3 of those teams rotate every year, right? Those teams have an agreement, and they agree to follow rules by participating in the league, and they can vote and change those rules as with a majority decision. What you've seen over the last few years is the only way that works is because we all agree to follow the rules. And when you have one team or several teams that decides that they're not going to follow the rules that they agreed to in the first place, then the thing is ripe for collapse. It's a Jenga tower. And you have that with Man City suing the league about rules that they agreed to and voted in the first place, right? And now you have the same thing with the referees. And it's a dangerous place to be. And I think that's one of the things that when you look at American sports leagues for their positives and negatives, right? The way that they're organized, where the owners own the leagues, sets it up for a different type of organizational structure, right? Where you have a commissioner who is technically an employee of the owners, right? Who sets the rules, and the leagues fall and the teams fall in line because that's what they agreed to. It's scary, right? As a fan, it's scary. We have the ways that things have been set up for a long time. It's worked for a long time, but also we're in this precarious position where if one team decides, and the other thing was, so they didn't let Coote referee Liverpool games, but they put him on the most important job in the whole place, which is VAR. So any bad decision or incorrect decision, now he's the one in charge of deciding on whether it's overturned or upheld. Like how I would argue that the VAR official is more important than the referee, because the referee can make the mistake. The VAR official is supposed to be clear-headed and to say, "Oh, hey, this is what's going on," and making sure the final decision is correct. So you took this guy, you said he can't referee these games, but he can have the most important job in the house. Like what?
I'll tell you.
And all it's going to take is one team, Nigel. It's going to take one team to say, we don't want this referee anymore. And it's going to be a major issue.
It is. And you got to think about it. And I've said it for years that there's Arsenal probably get one of the toughest ends of refereeing out of a big 6. But some of the refereeing for Wolves this year has been horrendous. Wolves' last 2 years have been horrendous. There definitely is a big 6 bias. I think there's a big 6 bias, and predominantly Man United, Man City. I think they get some very, very favourable decisions a lot of the time, and I just think it comes from the fact that a lot of the referees are from that area, and I like what the NFL do, where in the NFL you've got a team of officials, and that team always works together. So you've got a head referee, head match official, then you've got your 2 line judges, you've got your 2 there's 2 line judges, there's your end zone judge, there's 5 of them, isn't there? 5 of them all together, working as a team. 5 referees.
And they always do the same jobs. They always work as a team.
Correct.
They're specialists.
they know how to work together. So I think that I think football needs to do the same. I think you need people who work together. So you'll have the same VAR, the same fourth official, the same referee, the same 2 assistants.
And when you do that, what you get is consistency, right? Because you get this consistency in the way that the referee calls the game. The VAR gets to know how the referee calls the game, right? And the VAR is aware of how the referee wants the game to be, right? And I think one of the things that I found really interesting is VAR is a technology. Technology is typically no disrespect, Nigel. Older people, it's hard to get on with technology, right? The old, as you age, it's hard to learn new things. No, but I'm talking about some of these old officials, right? The last few years, the guys they couldn't be referees anymore, but now they moved them onto the VAR booth, and it's moving at such a fast pace. Like, these guys are not prepared for it.
But
like, you need a specialized person.
That's my other thing, and I'd probably get rid of referees in VAR. I'd only have 1 maybe in there or 2, and I would go, if you're going to use Stockley Park correctly, it should be like the NFL video replay center in New York, where anything what's under review goes to the video replay center in New York, and the same people are doing the video replay for every game what's going on at that time. Every game is being done at the same time. So they've got 1 person watching each game, and then they've got an overall person who's the supervisor, and they will go around and say, when there's an incident each one, right, let's have a look, bring it up on a big screen, let's have a look. It's just
the only thing
more
that I don't disagree with you. I think the only thing is that VAR is a context within the game that's being played, right? And the way that the referee is reffing that game is going to change from game to game.
VAR is not supposed to re-referee the game. VAR is only supposed to correct clear and obvious errors. All right, it's not supposed to re-referee. It's exactly the same as the video replay system in the NFL.
No, but what I'm saying is, if the referee's been calling something that is a 50-50 foul, if they've been calling it a foul all game, and then that's the correct decision in the flow of the game, but you're watching it from the outside and you're like, oh, that's a foul, then that's the only thing where I can see where having the centralized command might be.
VAR's not there to judge on a foul. It's not there for stuff like that. It's there for clear and obvious errors, what can lead to goal scoring situations. So anything what happens during the box, anything what happens in the box, and anything what's a red card.
But I'm saying in the Arsenal Liverpool game, or no, Arsenal Man U game, when you had the foul that wasn't called on the field, and then VAR went back and said, go look at the screen, and you have these situations. But nonetheless, there's a bunch of different ways that you could make it to be more cohesive, right? And work in a better way. And I think that it's a technology that just isn't being used properly. Monts?
Yeah, no, I just as I just listening to the conversation, I feel like when it comes to VAR and the way it's been used, there's been so many little changes that's been tweaked along the way because of clear and obvious mistakes that have costed teams. And I think it's just, we need to kind of understand or accept the magnitude of the jobs in which these guys possess. You know, it can be the difference between a team being relegated and a team being promoted. It can be the difference between winning the Premier League and not winning the Premier League. Ultimately, maybe, you know, resulting in someone being sacked. That's a man's job on the line. You know, if a referee makes the wrong decision, he's going to go and ref the next game. If your job is to make top 4 and you don't make top 4 and the board sacks you, you now lose your job and the ref goes and refs the next game. You know what I'm saying? It's very rarely referees get sacked for, you know, unless they have been sacked before, again, forgetting to draw the lines against Brentford at Arsenal. No, I mean, it's miraculous to me that no one was sacked after the Liverpool game when Luis Diaz, with the infamous Luis Diaz goal last year. And I was at that game actually as well. And I think the magnitude just isn't spoken about enough. You know, it's kind of like a mistake gets made, a statement gets put out, and we go again. When again, these are massive, like every little decision matters. A referee has as much power to change the game than a striker or a defender or a goalkeeper or a manager that's putting out the tactics. So for me, I feel like there have definitely been improvements in some senses, in some small senses where we talk about, I've seen instances where VAR's been used to see if there's a minute offside or a foul in the build up, and you go, all right, you know what? Well done, well used. So I don't actually think VAR has ever really been the problem. I think the guys using VAR, has always pretty much been the problem. Like they don't even how comes in the Liga there's an automated offside thing? And I think I've only ever seen that gone wrong once in the hundreds of thousands of sides that they've called. But why is it in the Premier League? It's okay, that's the best angle we've got. Yeah, that's the only angle we've got. And the angle's not even straight, We just get that's the best angle we've got. So we have to go from that. There isn't just an automated camera that looks across the, it's just inconsistencies everywhere. So
it's crazy because I used to date this guy in DC who worked for the Wizards in their analytics department, and they had, I think it was 150 to 200 cameras that looked in on the basketball court and automatically analyzed every movement, how many steps you took, how quickly you accelerated, thousands of data points that were coming out and spit them out into data, right? So you mean to tell me that we can't get 10 extra cameras set up to look across the goal line on the outside of the post to see if the ball went out? It's just you're taking the piss.
No.
They'd
rather advertise your favorite betting. They'd rather put the money into advertising your favorite betting website on the advertising boards. That's what they'd rather
Absolutely
do. You know what I'm saying? They'd rather, it's crazy to see where the money probably really goes rather than where it should go. But at the end of the day, I just kind of have grown tired of it. You know what I'm saying? With some of the decisions last season that I've seen against Liverpool were it's like that kick on McAllister. To this day, I'll just never understand how, and that's actually cost Arsenal the league. Actually, coincidentally, if the same things happen, if the exact same results follow after that, actually cost Man City the league. But to be kicked in your chest in the box, it's almost laughable. Like it's actually laughable at times. And I'm not saying Man City have never been done dirty before. This isn't a team thing. This is a footballing issue. It's not I support Liverpool, so all decisions against me are the worst and I'm the victim. No.
Right.
It's happened against Arsenal. Man City against Spurs when the ball was played over the top and the ref just decides to blow the whistle when Jack Grealish is in on goal.
Randomly.
It's happened to so many teams. And listen, I feel like we can understand refereeing problems before VAR because it's human error. And sometimes things happen so quickly that, but you can't bring in a solution and then the solution be just as flawed, if not more flawed, as the natural issue at hand, maybe with the eye sometimes not being on point all the time just because of human error. It's like you can sit there and take as long as you want to make the decision and you still get it wrong a lot of the time. For me, with the money you're getting paid and the amount that's on stake with the jobs at stake, it's just not good enough for me. So, and guys like David Coote deserve everything they're getting, in my opinion, because Salah was in on goal. I was in the Cop end and Salah was in on goal. He gets pushed in the back. I don't know if you guys saw it for Darwin Núñez's goal. He gets pushed in the back and the ref goes.
I just mentioned that earlier, and I was like, after he got just absolutely rugby tackled, I thank God that Núñez
that he roofed it,
managed to get it in, because otherwise we're all sitting here having the same conversation about yet another.
They came out that they weren't going to give it. If Núñez didn't score, they wouldn't have given that foul. They wouldn't even looked at it. They wouldn't have checked it either.
I'm gonna leave on this one though. He did get another. He got two horrendous decisions wrong in that game as well. Other than that, how we give Konate the free kick when he took out Watkins was unbelievable. He's took his bottom half away, and then the pullback by Conor Bradley on Pau Torres in the box at this shirt. It's blatant. It's a blatant. Anywhere else on the pitch, it's a free kick. So it's got to be a penalty. And but saying that though, it just proves. I mean, if he was at least he was wide-eyed though, David Coote, when he was refereeing, because it obviously might have heard a little bit before.
Well, Monts, it was great having you on today. Hopefully, maybe you can hop on with us next week. Come on next week, and we'll do next week's preview after this another wonderful international break. Yay!
Yeah, last one for 4
As-
months, guys. Don't worry, that's just one more.
I know. Thank God. Thank God. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us everywhere you see us, and we'll be back next week to preview game week 12. Thanks, everybody.